Put down me as per normal. And yeah, we'll go with that.
Are you going to talk about AI stuff?
No, I don't think so. I might talk about advertising.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about any of the apps stuff? Like just what the heck's going on with us?
Is this like super tilted? I don't know. What about would be interesting?
Don't know. I'm sure you can find something.
So I'm thinking. So we'll do this. We have intro. Did you see I mentioned?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, I was laughing at the nails. I thought that was cute.
Yeah. So we'll do that at the start. We can do the even workout thing. Then we'll do this question, this question, and we'll just finish with any Sydney stuff. I'm good. All right. So you probably will get started with this. Well, we want to start from the scene. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Build Horizons, a show about picking the life you want to lead and how to make it happen. Today, we're going to answer some questions about worldview and how that can affect you, procrastination, and strategic thinking, and a bunch of other stuff. But before we do that, we're going to do the intro. All right, I'm Jeff. This is Katie. Click subscribe. The graphic says too, so got to do what the graphic says. Katie.
Yeah.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, good morning. Fancy seeing you here.
Fancy seeing you here. Last time before we got into things, we talked about your new workout plan. You want to describe what that was and then how that went?
Yeah, so I have signed up to do personal training sessions with our almost 10-year-old in literally like a week. I think he turns 10.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun. Highly recommend. I think that sometimes you should go and swap places. We met
Not
our
a
trainer.
big group workout kind of guy.
No, it's just your son.
I would do stuff with them.
It was so much fun. So
What did you actually do? I mean, we kind of talked about it, but I didn't. Yeah. What's the down low on that? What all did you guys do?
it was the first time, so it was a lot of meeting each other, filling out our capabilities, and you haven't hit auto button yet, so go ahead and hit that auto button.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. I got you.
You're such a good.
I'm a good auto button reminder person. Anyway, so.
What are your capabilities that you tested? How'd you do?
Well, it was a lot of like agility ladder stuff, which is always fun because of course I haven't done that in ever. I wonder if I literally maybe once or twice in my life. Honestly, I didn't do too bad. I actually hung in there.
You got them quick feet?
I got them quick feet. And then so we did a whole bunch of different agility ladder stuff, and then we did a game where he laid buttons down, little, I don't know, just on the floor, and he had it automatically, I think there were like 7 or 8 buttons, and they would light up,
Uh-huh.
and we were supposed to shuffle and click them, and it was basically like a game. And dude, I'll tell you, Avon was so much faster than I gave him credit for. I could barely hang, which was slightly concerning considering I am running a marathon. And
So you couldn't hang because of fitness level?
I don't know.
Or
Like,
you-
I was winded. I don't know.
Apparently you need to click more buttons.
Or I just need to do more hit training, which is
Maybe I should make you hit the auto button.
what?
I'll make you hit the auto button. That way
Why?
you can, because you need to practice hitting buttons. You get
Oh.
winded from hitting buttons.
Oh, I see. I feel like that was a dad joke. Anyway, so it was a lot of fun. I think it's gonna be a really great bonding time for Avon and I, and I'm excited. We have it actually again tonight, so we will see how session 2 goes. More to come. But yeah, so what I gathered from it is I am really bad at doing things high intensity. I'm really good at running slow
Yeah,
and steady.
Yeah,
I
when we're
am
running,
not,
you are very averse to. I mean, pain.
I don't like 170 heart rate. It hurts.
Why do you not like it?
I don't know. It's just uncomfortable. But
Well, yeah.
but like I'm okay with feeling uncomfortable, obviously. But I feel like with longer distances, it's a more ease. Obviously, like you ease into it. Whereas if you're sprinting or doing hit training, it's just so immediate. And
Yeah.
but it is good for you, and I know I need to do
It's
more
very
of
good
it.
for you.
And I'm trying, dude.
When we
Hey,
were
hey,
running,
and you need to like tell them because you make it sound like I don't run hard. We literally just did a hard effort yesterday, and then I did one,
How much-
mind you, by myself.
how much
By
it-
myself while you were in Las Vegas.
I like how you waited for me to start talking again so you could interrupt me.
And I did a good effort, and I went hard. Like I did a whole mile hard. So it's not like I won't do it, but I just don't. It's not my.
How much
favorite thing.
encouraging did you need on that run?
Honestly, I was a little nervous. I was gonna be late getting back to the kids and getting them ready because I've been solo
So-
parenting a little bit this week.
Procrastination is not always a bad thing. We'll get to that later.
Yeah. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's the
it
plan,
was yeah, it was good. So yeah, that was my I know you were in Vegas this week, and
Yeah.
any fun Vegas stories? You took it off. I put it in there. Oh no, you left it in there.
Well, I
In the
don't
show
know.
notes. Anything
So-
cool in Vegas?
I mean, Vegas is not my favorite place.
I've literally only been in the airport, so I don't know much about
It's
Vegas.
pretty much that.
Yeah.
Just a lot of hot air in between other places.
But you ran, and it didn't feel too bad.
Well, I mean, I did run, yeah, and despite it being like the low the entire time I was there was 86 degrees, so that was the coolest it ever got. But yeah, despite running when it was like 90, the experience I would say would be significantly better than running here at home, even though it was super, super hot, just because the humidity was like nothing.
What was the
It was-
humidity?
I don't know. It's 10%.
Oh,
20%.
okay,
Like,
okay.
it's super, super dry desert.
Sydney's gonna be a little humid though.
Yeah, but it will be cooler for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, much cooler.
Um,
I don't even remember what it's like to
to
run in that.
run and not
I don't.
hot.
My body has forgotten what it's like to run in 60s.
Yeah, it is super
50s.
nice. Yeah, I was in Denver a few weeks ago, and being able to run in the cool is quite fantastic.
Yeah. I'm excited.
But no, the thing I mean, there's lots of things about Vegas that aren't my favorite thing, but my thing that is the least favorite thing is, first off, it's 2 hours before us, 2 hours ahead.
Oh gosh, yeah, the time change is so high.
Or 2 hours
You wouldn't
behind,
think 2 hours,
whatever.
but it's a big difference.
When it's 8 p.m. at home, it's 6 p.m. in Vegas time, which 6 p.m. in Vegas time is 2 hours until it's time to eat usually, because
Oh.
it seems like every dinner doesn't start till 8 local, and dinner is not like a quick 30-minute affair. It's like 2.5 hour experience.
Well, and you were there for work. So
Yeah,
it's,
so it's typical fancy stuff in Vegas. And so my eating time, which is normally, I mean, we normally eat at 6 p.m. maybe.
Or earlier.
Or
We
earlier.
are definitely ones when we get hungry at
This
like
morning,
4:30, 5 o'clock.
this morning I checked my phone and my mom had texted me, and she texted me at 9:11 p.m., which I had already gone the frick to bed.
I know, you
And
were
so
crashed. You
yeah,
were so tired.
pretty tired. So yeah, I not a late night person. My mom stays up later and texts me apparently. And so for me to start dinner at 10 p.m. is yeah, quite an adventure. And,
Yeah.
and finishing dinner at midnight 30 is oof.
Yeah,
rough.
I know when you told me that I'm hearing our children again. Well,
They're fine. They're just
fine.
arguing
They're
about something.
fine.
They're
It's such a funny experience hearing the arguments through the floor and basement, but it's fine. We're just gonna roll with it. Anyways, is you were going to have dinner literally as I was going to bed.
Yeah, I was getting
I
ready
could
to
not
leave
imagine
to head
that.
toward dinner.
So yeah, 2 hours time difference, not great.
Yeah. Also, I'm bad at darts. I didn't even tell you that.
Oh
I'm
no,
darts
I haven't
again.
heard this story.
I'm terrible at darts. That's all there really
Yeah.
is to that.
Were you like last place terrible?
It took me so like we had a game and you had to like hit your number,
Mhm.
and I hit my number for the first time at attempt number 18. So
Oh wow.
that's 17 misses,
Honestly.
but nobody beats me 18 straight times. So.
That's amazing.
Should we do some questions, Katie?
Well, we didn't talk about.
Oh shoot! Oh yeah, what's your Sydney nail
Oh
situation?
my goodness. Okay, so
Apparently this is a thing.
yeah, so you
I
can
mean,
get the
I
camera
know
to come
this.
over to me. Come here, camera. Come here. Come here. I guess
If
that
you remind me
it'll-
to hit auto, I'll do it for you.
Okay.
Ready? Okay.
Here's my nails right now. These are not my Sydney nails though.
Oh wait, those aren't your.
No, I don't have.
You do know we are leaving
I have
in
it.
like 24
Dude,
hours.
I have my appointment scheduled for this morning. After I go to the gym, I'm going straight to my nail lady. And I'm very excited. And we've been planning these nails for a minute. We've been both scoping out nails because I told her I want bright.
Oh, I thought you were meaning me. I'm like,
no.
yeah, I'm really invested in this nail situation.
But so I guess you'll see it on the video blog if you watch it. My nails will be on there. Maybe we'll have to have like a little section where I show my nails. And I'm really excited. I haven't had nails like this ever. So we're gonna go bright. It is gonna be our second start, and I was seeing what other people had done. And it seems like the Sydney vibe is definitely kind of like blue and like a navy blue, a little bit of a lighter blue. So I've seen a lot of blue nails, but I feel like I do blue all the time, so I don't want to do blue nails.
Dude, this is I thought you had your actual Sydney nails on.
No, I'm getting them on. But anyways, okay, I'll wrap it up.
This
But
is very boring.
I'm not gonna do 2 stars. I'll probably do 3 stars. Whenever we get to 3 stars, I'll do 3 stars.
Oh, okay.
Not yet. Anyways, that's all. Okay,
Stars
moving
are
along.
fine.
Okay, questions and topics.
Okay.
Let's. Oh, if people are even still listening, it's fine. They love us anyways.
God bless you.
Okay, so question number 1 is from user Realistic Summer 884. How do I finally lock in? I have a very bleak perspective on the world, which is partly holding me back in succeeding. I don't know how to change my worldview. They go on to say they're not the best at socializing, which applies to networking as well, and that can be detrimental to financial success, and they don't know how to do it, how to finally lock in, and I'm trying to read kind of wrapping it up. Just basically, how do they move forward with where they're at and become better at socializing? Which actually I think you have a lot of feedback on, because this was something that you've had to grow that skill over time.
Yeah, sure. So first off, I'm curious, what do you think of, we don't use the word lock-in very much.
No.
This is a very, no, your face.
What? What's wrong with my face?
You were so happy about that. No.
I try to be, Jeff, I'm trying to stay smiley.
So what do you think lock-in means, Katie? Is this going to be a new word that you use that you found in our questions? Katie was our question finder.
I did. I found these questions. I thought they were a little different from last year. Just last year. It's been a struggle bus this morning. Last time, a little less career focused, but this is also kind of career focused. Lock in. It means to figure out how you do better at something is what I would, and like actually figure out what it is that you need to do better at and then do the thing. That's how I interpret it, but maybe I'm wrong.
That's fine.
Wow, that was very anticlimactic of you.
I don't know.
What about you, Jeff? What do you think? Lock in means?
I'm going to talk about...
Is it going to be your new favorite word? You're all smiley about it.
I'm going to talk about the networking thing first. So, the idea of showing up at networking events and then you just have like a bunch of people talking and you walk up and you start talking to them, like that is
hard.
Not my jam. I don't even know that I would say that I can do it. Like, I mean, I can, and I can do fine just because I can normally be there with another person. But if I'm not that, I don't know. Actually, let me reframe this. I think I do better if I don't have another person. I think if I have another person there that I know, then I'm just going to stick with that person, and we're just going to hang out and talk, and then maybe we'll bump into some other folks through that. But that ends up being a crutch and not something that I find particularly easy to get past, just because that is definitely the easier route, is if there's somebody you already know. If not, then I mean, I've found my way through that sometimes, but it is just weird and hard. And I don't drink these days, and so there's no like easy button alcohol to make you feel better. And so it really is just a willingness to have the first 5 minutes be super awkward. But usually, if you can find a group of people who are laughing and have a good time, that's the sort of folks that I tend to gravitate to, because, I mean, if nothing else, laughing is an easy way to, spend some time. And then if you, I don't know, then you end up sharing a story or two, and then it feels like normal, and I don't know, you make it past that initial awkwardness. But yeah, I mean, for me in general, one-on-one stuff is super weird, and so that part of it is uncomfortable.
I was just going through and reading a little bit more of this. I feel like there's kind of layers to this, because they are talking about making friends in general, but then also networking. So I do think there's kind of two different things, but in the networking scope of things, I definitely also know what you mean with going to, for example, a conference and not really knowing very many people and trying to start up conversations. It's just really hard and kind of awkward. But everybody feels that way, I think. I don't think that's a unique experience. But I do think just going up and introducing yourself, asking what they do, a lot of the time is such an easy way to just start a conversation. You don't have to overthink it.
Yeah.
But again, I'm also, and I'm a pretty social person, but situations where I am walking in and really don't know anybody and there's a lot of people, I do also struggle with networking in general. But it's so funny because my boss, little UK lady, has no reservations. I mean, that girl will talk to anybody, and it's so fascinating to watch her work a room. It makes sense because she's built a company and she's been doing this for 12 plus years now. But she is a pro at networking. So that would maybe be another thing I would suggest, is if you have an opportunity to get a, I don't know, mentor or somebody that you might know that you can go watch network, I think you can learn a lot that way too.
Yeah. No, it's just, I also think that, I mean, yes, you could definitely get better at it. There's no doubt about that. But also sometimes it's just okay for it to feel weird and hard.
Yeah.
not everything is necessarily a thing that you can
Just master.
master.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm selling myself short in that, but I don't. It's not that sort of situation is not where I thrive. I mean, if there's a reason, like if we're gathered together for a similar purpose, like we have a very like in my role where I've been at a place and we have very similar jobs, not just like a broad conference, but like where we're literally the same people at the same type of organizations. Those are a little bit easier for me
Yeah.
because then you
Yeah.
have a shared, like, I have this thing to talk about and we have similar problems, and then you can really easily like just start talking about the things.
Yeah.
Like if I just go to a broad, like, okay, we're literally everything from finance to like uh the technology side to operations to etc. Like if it's just everybody, those are a little bit harder for me.
Yeah.
Just the not knowing where we're gonna find whatever particular common ground.
Find your people.
I mean, honestly though, it's even in the times where it sucks though, and like it feels awkward, if you just go and do it, like with most things in life, if you just take the steps and go and do, it ends up not being that big of a deal.
Yeah.
So even if you feel like you're not like the best at it, just going and doing. And the other part too, making friends is also hard sometimes, and there could be seasons where that you feel like you have better friends or like better at having or maintaining a friend group, other seasons of life where you don't. And I think that's okay too. Like there's yeah.
What if someone wants to, what applicable thing could you say, or do you have any good advice for somebody who is wanting to try and have a friend group, meet some people? Um, I know I have some ideas, but do you have
No,
any?
I mean, why don't you share yours? Because honestly, my perspective on this, and because it is because I'm such a natural introvert, is I love having close friends, um, but the necessity to like there's several friends that I have that I won't talk to for long stretches of time, and then pick up and like it's just like we just pick up where we left off. We don't, but like they're not heavy maintenance friendships,
Yeah.
and the ones that I do spend a lot of time with, which typically is around work people. Uh, those like very I spend a lot of time with them because of proximity and time, but like I don't if I didn't for a while, like that would be okay too, and like that would very much be, in my opinion, just the people that I would stay close with would be the people that would be okay if we didn't talk for a couple weeks, months, like, and that'd be no big deal.
So what about your football friends? Do you want to, how did you get into that? How did you put yourself out there enough to make friends like that? Because that has been something that has surprised me with you, because you're a pretty introverted person, but you did some pretty like extroverted activities recently with your football friends.
Yeah. So that is a group of people that I've met online. When I started prior podcast attempts, made a friend just talking to people on Reddit about similar things, and then ended up in a dynasty football league for like the last 6 years or 5 years, something like that. And we met up and went to the draft in Pittsburgh, and so yeah, I mean, definitely not the sort of thing I would typically do, but I think it's also, if you have situations like that, it's, being willing to do stuff that's outside. Again, it's not like I'm doing that all the time. Like that could be a once every couple of year type of activity. But yeah.
But I think the thing that kind of rolls into what I was going to say is try to find things that you love. Like you love football, you found a Reddit group, found some Reddit people, and you did put the effort in to get to know these people enough for them to invite you to a dynasty league. And now you have, I don't know, I mean, you talk to these guys quite a bit, especially now with football season coming up. Finding things that you have a passion for and just go after it. There are so many online groups, there's so many probably local opportunities. So try to lock in on that for friendships. And
Good
then
use of
I
locking.
did see what I did there. But then also for things that I did, which I don't know if this is as relevant to what they're wanting, but I joined a book club that I literally knew nobody at, which was honestly a little bit refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really great. And I've got some friendships from that, and I don't talk to these ladies often. And I think we're gonna do another. We've been on break right now just with summer, but it was really fun, and I kind of put myself out there, and it was really beneficial. And then the other way that I've recently made new friends, because I don't even know if we've really talked about this on the podcast, but we moved a little, I guess, like a year and a half ago. Has it been?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
So kind of had to start over, not so much, but I mean, we're definitely in a brand new community, new schools.
Yeah, new neighbors.
Yeah,
etc.
we didn't know anybody, and I've put the effort and time into trying to meet some neighbors and have a really great friend that I've met. We have a lot of common interests, and one of the things being workouts.
Yeah, about to go work out right after this.
Yep, going to her class actually. So I just think you have to find like things that you really love and put the work out, put the work in. And I guarantee you, if you do that, you will be successful in finding people that also have the same interests. And that always just makes a friendship so much easier. That's just like the groundwork, and then it just grows from there. And I also know, and I learned this from the book club, there are actually apps for like finding friends locally, that you can meet up. And I know, like, for parents and stuff, if you wanted to, you have little ones, like it's like you can meet up at a park and go do a play date. But I'm sure that even can be other ways to make friends. So I do know that we with this day and time, and social media, friendships can be really hard. But if you do put the effort in, I absolutely believe that you can build on friendships and find people with same interests. But
Yeah.
sorry, we spent a long time on that question, but I do think friendship is something people really do like to hear about.
Yeah, I do want to say there is a piece of this question that's mentioned twice, which is that the world is crap, basically. Like, things are bad, and that being a reason to not feel motivated to better one's self. And I had some thoughts on that because, I mean, sure, there's absolutely crappy things in the world, and it feels like we're bombarded by that information all the time. Well, and it feels that way because we are bombarded by that all the time.
Right.
And I don't want to diminish the fact that yes, there is a lot of suffering in the world. Yes, there is a lot of corruption in the world. Yes, there is a lot of manipulation in the world. Yes, there is a lot of bad stuff out there. There's lots of things that if I had a magic wand, I would absolutely get rid of it in an instant. But I will also balance that with there is a lot of really good in the world too, a lot of awesome stuff in the world too. And especially on some of these big problems, the general trajectory of where that is going humanity wide is in a positive direction. Even though there are, like, bumps along the way, like, we are a more equal society, we do have less childhood mortality, like, we do have less disease in the world, and we do have lots of things. Now, that doesn't mean that there's not, like, asterisks to that statement, but by and large, like, we are a more prosperous, healthy, equal society over time.
Yeah.
And I don't think that it is helpful to let so much of the negative dictate what you do and how you behave yourself when there is so much positive that you're ignoring when you're saying that. Like, in the statement, or the question on here and writing all that up, the statements are, the stuff is bad, and so I don't have the motivation to do things. And that but all the good stuff is just left out entirely. And there's plenty of good things. I would say that the perspective on that is probably dictated by what you allow um, your your brain and eyes to see. And so if that is, scrolling Reddit or whatever the kids are doing these days, and then that's just flooded with a bunch of negativity, then change what you look at, because there's plenty of stuff out there that is positive. You just have to not let yourself spiral into that. Just I'm feeding and bombarding myself with all the things that are wrong with the world.
Yeah. Yeah, you only get one life. So,
you only get one life, and do you want to look back and think about how much time you spent being depressed about doom scrolling things versus being excited and motivated by all the cool things? Because I know that might feel hard because there's definitely plenty of things that if you want to spend your time looking at negatives, there are enough things to fill your time. And there's enough things.
And it's the thing that gets clicks. So it's going to be the things that just overwhelmingly so will show up on wherever, really. This made me think of last night. I was at our daughter, she's doing a Ninja Warrior class. And it's so funny. She was the only girl. I don't think I told you that. She was the only girl.
No, I had no idea.
Yeah.
How adorable.
She loved it though. But parents are allowed to really watch them. I think that's just to make sure the kids stay on task and listen to their teacher. So like parents can't really watch. I mean, I can see her, but I can't be like where she's doing the class. But obviously I was just sitting there for an hour and I had forgotten my Kindle because it was just a crazy get out the door. But I opened up Instagram and started scrolling, and my Instagram algorithm is genuinely just funny stuff to me, which is usually just funny little fails. And I was just cracking up watching these reels and got a little bit embarrassed because I couldn't like hold in my laughter. So I'm like, okay, I need to turn this off because I can't stop laughing. But anyways, just all that to say, watch things that, make you happy. Smile.
In Piggy's case, watch people hurt themselves.
I wasn't watching people hurt themselves. It was
sent me a video of people hurting themselves.
No, not the whole time. There was the part that made me laugh. It was like delivery drivers. This guy was delivering a package and he kept getting hit by a sprinkler. It was so funny. I'm sorry, delivery drivers. You're amazing and I love you. Thank you for all the work that you do. But it made me smile.
Yeah, you can't give delivery drivers too much crap. You keep them amply employed.
I think everybody does, to be honest. If they say they don't, then they're lying. Just kidding. Not actually. Just kidding.
Katie taking hard stances.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to read our next question?
Do you want to... Is there any of these that you definitely want to hit on, or do you want to just try to go?
Question 2.
Okay. So this comes from user Razed. I don't know if I did that right. Help with bad habits and procrastination. And they go on to say they know they have problem with procrastination and often slip back into bad habits. They have managed to cut down their phone use and social media in general, but then they relapse and do scrolling and pointless social media feeds, watching hours of videos on their computer without actually getting anything done that they'd like to do. So they just kind of fall back into these habits. Do you have any advice on how to improve? Even small steps that can help me stay consistent.
Yes.
We've talked about this a few times, but I think it's just great to talk about it again. And
I do have things. I think that first off, you need to have something that you are passionate about trying to further, whether that is a skill or learning something or a particular hobby that you want to spend time in. You do need to spend the time to figure out what that thing is.
Yeah.
And that if you don't have something like that, if you don't have anything that's pulling you toward it, then you will fall back into like the lowest common denominator of whatever, way that spending time it feels easy. And unfortunately for us right now, there's lots of easy ways to spend time on your phone, just looking through whatever, oftentimes, like we were talking about above, just a bunch of depressing crap. And I do not think that that is a good use of a life. And so I would heavily recommend, uh, yeah, I think thing one is being able to answer the question, how would you rather be spending your time? I think it's uh, you're setting yourself up for failure if you're just like, I want to spend less time on my phone. And then that's the end of the declaration. I think you need to be able to say, I want to spend less time on my phone because I want to learn how to do advertising for my business. I mean, that's my thing.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the answer to the other side of that question, then it's going to just, it comes back to, I only can do this thing, or in this case, not do this thing, as long as I have the willpower for it, which will last for somewhere between, a few days, few hours, few minutes, few seconds, not a ton of time probably, and then you'll just be back to where you are, which is exactly what they're describing here.
Yeah.
So I think you just, yeah, you have to have the answer to what the other side of that coin is, and that's part one. Now, part two to this is I do think that there are some small things that you can set yourself up for success. And if you do have the answer to that question, but you still find yourself taking the easy path, I do think that there are certain things that you can do to make your life a little bit easier. So, like for me, for example, one thing that I am figuring out is setting up my phone in such a way that if it is during a time that I have set as dedicated, like I don't want to spend this time on my phone, I want to spend this time intentionally on the business, just as an example. The thing that I've done is I have a focus mode on my phone that is the business focus mode. And in there, it makes my phone have a big old red X and all the words are red. And like, there's nothing more like it's like instant condemnation if you pick up your phone like out of habit and you're just going to go through and scroll and then like you pick it up and it's just a big giant red X. That will remind you, I assure you, that like, hey, I said that I wasn't going to be doing this. And so like the number of times I've like picked it up, look at my phone, here's a giant red X, set it back down. And then like, maybe that's like literally 2 minutes later, pick up my phone, look at it, giant red X, and set it back down. Um, like we are creatures of habit. And so you might need to come up with something to break you out of that cycle. Um, but I do think if I were to do that, but then I don't have anything that I'm actually trying to spend my time on, then I'm just going to probably flip it out of the focus mode to just a normal one. And then now I'm back down to, using my phone for going through Reddit or YouTube or Instagram or whatever. And whatever it happens to show me is what it shows me. And then I spend all my time and then it's time to go to bed. That is one thing too, is sometimes the answer could be like, I'm not going to do this so that I can go to bed on time. Like I've had to definitely do that before, because like I know if I just start down that path, I could easily lose a half hour, 45 minutes, a whole hour, and that's a less time that I'm going to get sleep, and then I'm going to feel more tired all the next day, and
It's like a vicious cycle.
it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah. I want to go back to your step one of identifying what it is that you would want to get better at or
Sure.
learn more on. If people have a hard time, because I do, like sometimes I have a hard time even figuring like, what is it that I even want to do better at or learn right now? What are some tools that people could do to try to figure that out for themselves? Do you have tools that you've used in the past that really helped you figure out what it is that you want to be able, like what you want to spend your time doing?
Well, I think first off, I mean it's a pretty big question of like, what do you want to do with your life? I mean, I realize that's a big thing, but I do think you're probably able to identify certain people that like I aspire to be more like this person, or there's things that this person does that I would also like to do. And so you can kind of through that like figure out like okay, this sort of person spends their time doing these sorts of things, and so I want to do these sorts of things. Reading is another way to get a lot of good people's ideas and well thought through concepts into your own brain, and that can help kind of drive that direction. I mean, I think reading in general is a fantastic answer to the question.
Yeah.
Read more. I mean, it's like the antivenom to doom scrolling is spending time reading a book. And for me, like I'm not a big fiction reader. I would say maybe 5% of what I read is fiction. But even as a nonfiction person, I even reading fiction is 100 times better than scrolling whatever social media.
Yeah. And I think too, one thing you didn't really touch on that you actually do a lot, which I'm surprised you didn't say, is you kind of word map it out a little bit. Literally on paper,
Hmm.
big marker, big piece of paper, whiteboard, and kind of just start writing without sometimes a lot of
Yeah, just start putting pen
direction.
to paper. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and you do that quite a bit, and I think it kind of helps gather your thoughts. And I think for I know we weren't really going to talk about AI, but I think sometimes if you even, take those first steps to figure out what it is you want to maybe do, like not with a lot of direction, but you could even plug that into AI and it might come up with some really great ideas to get started on some things that might, help you grow and help you learn new things. And
Yeah, I do. It is an interesting thing. I think that's always been helpful. I think that is especially helpful in our the AI future is writing down the stuff that you are trying to do because then when you want to go ask AI a question, if you have like written down all that stuff,
mhm,
then it can pick up all the context that you
mhm.
have, you know, thought through yourself, and you can have something be able to, bounce stuff off of really, really effectively. Um, and obviously, you got to use that carefully and things like that. But like that
Right, yeah,
is that it because it will definitely just affirmation you into whatever you want. um, but if you're using that as a tool of saying like here's my things, here's the few things I'm thinking about, help me write out the pros and cons to each, and you can
yeah,
still use your own brain to like think of like okay based on that what direction I go,
yeah,
that can be a really strong thing for
yeah,
sure. Yeah, and writing down stuff is fantastic in general, and it's really helpful to be able to reference that. Actually, that's part of the next question a little bit, that I'll get into.
yeah.
But it is a really big strength if you can articulate your thoughts. That is a like if you can put pen to paper on a thing that you're feeling, even if it's not being able to answer the question or answer the problem just yet, solve the problem just yet, being able to just write down the problem can sometimes be clarifying.
And I think that's a great segue into question number 3.
All right, go ahead.
Um, this comes from user Who Knows the Day. And the question is, I've managed to organize and track my projects and tasks, but how do you handle your thoughts and course corrections? And they go on to say they get lost in the daily shuffle and tasks, and I constantly need to pause and reflect. And they give the example of, okay, my goal is X in 6 months, so I need to do Y to reach Z while handling W in parallel. And then they say, I want to document this because honestly I forget it all within 2 days, and I'm tired of realizing after a whole week has gone by I've lost my way again because I focus on whatever was screaming the loudest for the attention, and it's usually work. um, so they don't really know how to organize this, and there are also thoughts or insights that pop up out of nowhere, moments of clarity I didn't have before only to vanish just as quickly. They try to jot it down to help them get back on track, but they end up buried in a conversation with myself or scattered across a random Notion page. How do you organize and capture this kind of thought?
Yeah, I think maybe I wrote this.
I know. I thought the same thing. Was this your question? Are you Who Knows the Day?
I don't know. I'll have to go read their other comments, see
Yeah.
if this maybe is me. No, yeah. So like we recently had I had a pretty bad like anxiety spiral,
Yeah.
maybe a week ago, last weekend or something. which was spawned on by this exact thing. And like I have a really hard time, which is really funny because it came through after like writing out a bunch of stuff. And getting a lot of clarity on a particular piece of things, but then that kind of threw everything else
Threw a
into
wrench into it.
it. Just it wasn't even so much that anything necessarily even needed to change. I just didn't know how to think about all the stuff in the light of what I had figured out elsewhere. And so it's like everything went out of focus all at once. And when that happens to me, like I can't function. Like it's such a big, like with the business, it's such a big part of how I spend my time and what I spend my like extra energy on, to not know how to even look at stuff was really unsettling. And it took a while to kind of rally with that. So, yeah, definitely this feeling is something that I feel very strongly, and a thing that I'm currently working through. It's actually one of the things that I'm building out, is trying to solve for this thing, which can be a system that helps handle the more tactical things that you need to do, but also keep front and center the actual, like the North Star of why you're doing what you're doing, and some strategic decisions that you've made, so that that can be very front and center, or just a click away to like re-go through why it is that I'm doing all the rest of the stuff that I'm doing. Um, and so, that's a thing that I'm working through. I think the important things that I've found is having, and one thing that I've even found through the business, and working with my sister, is having a central place to go to put ideas and things, like whether that's strategic thoughts, or like, hey, we should do this thing soon or now or whatever. Having the place where stuff goes, and going back to that on a regular basis and building that habit helps at least know that it's not just going to be a bunch of random stuff everywhere. Like having a fixed number of certain places, and not constantly just recreating new places for things to land, I think is one helpful way. Because yeah, definitely feel the sprawl of things. And also, like, it keeps you from completely reinventing the wheel every single time that you have a little shift. Um, which is, I'm saying some of these things as if I have a that I've done a good job, and there's certain things that I've done a good job at, and certainly some things that I haven't. But that's when I have done a good job. That's kind of been the common thread. Is it's a recurring place, go back, not sprawling, spend the time, but then make it part of your routine to revisit those things regularly, not just when you have a anxiety spiral, but when you also wake up in the morning and you're going through your to-do list. Maybe that's a once a week thing, is to go through and review your strategy document and make sure that the things that you're wanting to achieve and the goals that you have are top of mind. And that could just be a quick 1 minute read of the summary at the top with the goals, and then you just go on through the rest of your to-do list for the day.
Yeah. I think for me too, and I'm not, honestly, this isn't even anything I feel remotely equipped to give any advice to, but I felt so bad when you had that anxiety spiral, because I felt like I was kind of the one that caused it in a way, just because I wanted us to just think through, because and we can be totally real here. We had done a Meta ads ad, and it didn't it like performed well, but didn't get any conversion.
Yeah.
So it just, and we kind of thought, okay, we're gonna do this thing, but then it didn't perform well. And one thing for me, I have to remember these things take time. But I made us sit down on that Saturday and really think through things. Okay, who are we trying to help? What are we trying to do? Then I kind of caused this anxiety spiral for you. I felt so bad. So I guess even just, on this podcast, like for someone like me, that's kind of just more of your support system in the company, but also like I know I do have a hand in it. Like, how can I help support you in this to try to help you not spiral and not get to a point where you feel like you're doing this? How can I, as somebody, because I feel like there's got to be people out there that their partner, their spouse is the visionary, kind of like you, and they want to help support this, but also want to be able to ask questions when it makes sense to ask questions, but want to ask questions, but not in a way where it's going to cause anxiety spirals. So, how could I help support you in this goal to not get lost in the shuffle of things and to keep track on the end goal?
Well, I think for starters, the 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 mission in life isn't to avoid all pain, and so that's part of it. Is like sometimes the uh, uncomfort or discomfort from having a shift like that is part of the process, and just getting better and more comfortable in that. And that comes with perspective. And in some things in life where you've gone through it a bunch of times, then it becomes more and more comfortable. Like I don't, uh, with my day job, I have much bigger problems that cause me 1/50th of the anxiety because I have done it for a decade and a half, and
Yeah.
like I know I can see the way that a strategic shift plays out, and I'm okay with it. No big deal. That'll be fine. I know all the ways. With the business that we've started, I don't have that same level of knowledge and background and understanding on how certain things work, especially in the advertising space. And so I'm trying to figure that out and then build the company based on what I learn. And I'm like, I still to this day feel like I like double in knowledge every week. And
Yeah.
so when you double in knowledge every week, you are in a situation that like you feel a lot stronger in what you know, but that does make it so that things that you used to think were a good idea are you realize like frick, this isn't going to work this way, this isn't going to work the way that I thought. And like even this morning, like in typing some stuff out that I mentioned on that document of like thoughts and strategic things and etc. Kind of as I was writing that out, realized like I don't think the thing that I thought was going to be the path is the path, and it's like now I'm gonna have to figure that out too. But like that's just, I think over time that'll just get easier and easier. I
Mm-hmm.
think for me, and this is actually different. I definitely see people be different in this depending on what their strengths are naturally. For me, if I have somebody who like I need somebody to bounce off of,
Yeah.
or someone to throw the first pass, like to get me to think if there is a question or an idea that is posed. For whatever reason, for me, I can see that as something that either makes a lot of sense and I have a lot of clarity on that, or I can see why it doesn't make sense and I have a lot of clarity on that. Sometimes generating that first thing to like help decide where to divide the thought like that is sometimes really hard for me. And so having somebody who can ask honestly almost any question or have almost any idea, I might immediately be able to see like way off into the future of like, okay, yes, this is a thing I can see us latching onto. Or I could say like, something about this isn't right. Let's think about it. And then like, okay, this is why XYZ thing. So it actually needs to be like this instead. Um, but yeah, like having somebody who can help keep it moving, like help the ideas keep flowing. I think is super critical for me as a person who doesn't always have the ability to like have that crystallizing thought. Just because I get stuck in my own head about like thinking through all the different possible permutations of things, and having somebody almost ask something to like lock it in place is helpful.
But that's what I did, and it was not productive. I mean, I guess I did later on because I saw
Well,
you spiraling all day long. And then I was thinking, like, how, oh my gosh, what have I done? And then I kind of took a step back and was like, okay, we need to focus on this. I think this is the answer. I don't know. And then we kind of had a full circle moment, but
Well,
I
and
just felt like when I did ask those questions, because it was literally kind of like a play through the day. That was in the morning. We sat down at the kitchen
well, that
table.
was all really good, and you got to see that, like the
Yeah.
good part of it, of
Well,
being able to like talk through all the things,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you give ideas, and then we bounce and get it
Mhm.
all figured out, and like honestly, like as we were doing that, like I didn't realize that I was throwing everything else into chaos, but like it was a very clarifying experience.
Yeah.
But then had to then figure out all the rest of it, and then like we also have real life things of like we have kids, we can't just sit at the dinner table and work literally all day,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and so but it did quickly become apparent afterwards. I'm like, well, I have no idea how all the rest of this plays together, and like honestly, like as I started writing that out, I started to figure it out and feel a little bit better. But then you had stuff that you wanted to go do, and so it interrupted that.
And I scared you so bad. I'm
Yeah,
so
because I was
sorry.
writing all my stuff out in VR, and then you scared the absolute
I
bejesus
tried
out of
to
me.
be. I scare Jeff all the time. It's not on purpose, but
I'm a jumpy person.
yeah, you are a very jumpy person. Yeah, but no, and I think that kind of comes to putting things on paper, and what's kind of cool about that technique, and I'm still kind of learning it, is it doesn't you don't have to have the answers when you go into it. You just got to start writing, and a lot of the times we'll just build from there, and I definitely think that was what was happening for you.
Yeah, I was just writing down like what are the questions that I have? What answers do I know? Like what truths do I know? What questions do I have to figure out? And then working through and writing out what the answers to those questions might be.
Yeah.
And what things do you need more information on to better understand, and what next actions are. It just takes time to work through that. Um, I I think like if you want to know what sort of things are not helpful, like don't like it's not a catastrophe to feel uncomfortable. It's not the end of the world. It's not permanent. It's a temporary state. Uh, it's not going like if you think about it, like it's there's no way that a week is going to go by and you're still going to feel like this. Like it's all going to get resolved and it'll all be figured out. And so like having that attitude is helpful.
Yeah.
Being able to not ask catastrophizing questions.
Yeah, that's really helpful for sure.
And what I mean by that is like uh, like being willing to just ask a like, well, what would you do about thing, like being willing to like get into the crazy mess that is currently brewing in my brain, I think is a helpful thing. And like I also have to be a willing participant to like not catastrophize, not spiral, and being able to just think through like, okay, let's think about this question, because honestly if you can start to figure out any piece of it, then the dominoes kind of click into place. Picture, puzzle, whatever things, something clicks into place,
Something clicks.
and you work through it, and
You lock in.
you, oh my gosh, you had a look in your eye, and I didn't know what it was for, and it was for the callback. But yeah, I don't know. It's definitely a real challenge. This thing.
Yeah, it's hard, and we're still figuring this out. And if we might someday come back to this question when we feel like we have some really great tips for it.
So we are recording this, and when it releases, we will be flying back.
Yeah.
From Sydney, Australia. Or maybe have just arrived.
Home. Yeah, I think she might have just got back.
But when we're recording it, we are about to start down our adventure.
My goodness, we leave tomorrow. It's so crazy.
Very, very excited. The training block in general, I would give a solid C- to.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
Have a lot of things that we want to spend our time on, so that was part of it. Also, one really big giant part of it is this time of year in Kansas is unacceptably hot.
Yeah, it's impossible to train like productively. I feel like it's just hard.
Yeah,
but that's okay.
especially this time of year is
Horrible.
like this timing of a marathon is by far the worst possible time.
Yeah.
Like the the mid July, early August training is, I mean, it is. And here's the thing: is like we have to be out for hours and hours when we go on these runs. And honestly, I don't even know that I would be super able to just be outside for 3.5 hours, not moving.
Yeah.
And so to be running that entire time, like it really just sets a timer off, especially like someone like me who sweats a ton.
Yeah.
Like I'm just not gonna survive. The body can only, doesn't matter how well hydrated you are, you can only get rid of so much water in such a short amount of time before you're just gonna fall apart.
Yeah, but it's gonna be fun, and we're gonna enjoy ourselves, and we don't have to run the Sydney Marathon again, so we don't have to train now. It was kind of funny though. We were getting ready for the podcast, and I told you that I'm just a little burned out of marathon training to then realize like I think we've been training for a marathon for about 6 months, which would make sense. I'm ready to be just able to cycle or lift weights or do shorter runs and not have that training pressure. However, I do think training pressure is really good, especially if you want to stay on track with staying consistent, to have something to be training for. But I'm good. I think I'm good to not have something.
Well, not have the pressure of
just
basically having to grind yourself into a pulp every Saturday or once a week.
Yeah.
Because it really does.
It's tough.
Especially during this time of year, because of the heat, you are going to be a little bit heat exhausted afterwards, and you almost have to sleep after a long run, and it's like that ends up turning into your whole
It kills your day. Yeah, I'm excited to be done with that. But it'll be fun, and we are going to video blog.
Yep, it'll actually probably already be up by the time this podcast is out. So, or at least some of the video on that. So go check it out. We're trying to have a fun time with sharing some of the things.
Do you think that we'll be posting on Instagram too, or on your Instagram?
Instagram and YouTube, we'll have stuff out there. So,
so check it out. I think it'll be fun. And if you guys really like this type of format where we do our daily life stuff, traveling, we could maybe try to do some more of it.
Yeah, comment, let us know. Also, to get to the housekeeping part of the show, if you would like to have anything that you share with us, you can email us at buildhorizons.com. We would love to hear from you. Follow us on socials, comment, like I said, there. Also, hit subscribe if you've listened to this far. We appreciate it. Any final words, Katie?
Nope, but
all right, sign us off.
All right, thank you for building with us. We are cheering you on.
And cheering us on as we go run.
Cheering us on. Yay! I see things on there, but I don't know what they say. Maybe you can answer questions at the end if there are actual questions on there.
If there's actually people, there's not.